Hello, everybody. My name is Seth.
My name's Deshaun.
And welcome to
Comic Gamer Movie Show.
Ta-da! And today we will be bringing you our top 5 games and gaming franchises, which means multiple games over a series of all time.
He'll give you his five. I'll give you
my number one pick,
and I'll give you my number one.
And then we'll talk about them each one. But we're not going to go into too much detail of each one because we're going to this will be a 20-hour
Trust me,
video.
our number ones you've heard of. You've heard of most of
our number
games.
ones are different. But anyway, my number one is the Fallout franchise. Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas. Deshaun hasn't played the original 2 like I have. I played the original 2. I didn't play Tactics or Brotherhood of Steel. I thought those games were shit. But Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, all-time favorite gaming series. Fallout 1 and 2 for most players nowadays would be like an abomination because the way it is played, like modern gamers today or like young generations of gamers today would never pick up Fallout 1 and 2. Because I'm an older gamer generation, I grew up with older games before I grew up with newer games.
Yeah.
I was used to it. And the games were hard. The first 2 games were tough, but I managed to beat them.
I never played them, but it looked tough.
They were very tough, but they were very, they were charming, and they had their own stories to them, and they were hard, but I did beat them. It took me a long time. They were long games, and they took me a long time to beat them, because there's so much in there. There's so many quests you get to do, and just like in Fallout 3 New Vegas, there's so many quests, and so many, the stories. The stories in each of the games never got stale. Like, in the first game, your whole goal was finding a water chip for Vault 13, then you defeated the master who created the super mutants, basically. Fallout 2, your whole job was to rescue your village from the Enclave, and Fallout 3 was to find your father and find out what he was doing, which was Project Purity, and your job was to stop. And then Fallout New Vegas was you had to pick a side in the war against Hoover Dam.
Fallout is definitely innovating the overall
and this
genre.
next story, I believe this next story, Fallout 4, will be even more. Hopefully,
they
will be even more over top.
I'll give them that. They keep kind of bumping it up.
They keep bumping it up each game. So anyway, so what's your number one?
My number one is Resident Evil 4. I love Resident Evil 4.
I loved it too.
It completely blew my mind. They reinvented the whole Resident Evil franchise. They have yet to do a better Resident Evil game.
I know Resident Evil 4 was my favorite Resident Evil.
It was so great. That game is Leon, the perfect character to play with because he was so. He's such a badass, and I played all the Resident Evil games, and I saw Leon, and Leon was a little kind of a bitch in the other ones. I mean, he wasn't like a bitch, but he wasn't what he is now. He isn't what he is now. Now he's a badass. The only flaw in the whole game was protecting Ashley, which after a while, of hanging with her hanging around you, I started to actually care about the girl.
Right.
And it was the boss battles were awesome. The way it looked at the time, the graphics for it were ridiculously awesome. I mean, it was actually scary to a degree. Like there were scenes in there. Creepy.
Yeah.
It brought back the
Resident Evil 4 for me was disturbing at some point.
Yes,
very disturbing. Goodness. And all the recent Resident Evil games, like Resident Evil 6,
the movies should take a page out of it. It was an action horror survival movie. I mean,
it was
a movie.
And some scenes of Resident Evil 4 were creepy, and
I liked how when things happen. During the cutscenes, sometimes you had to do something. You weren't just a cutscene. Sometimes you had to push a button on time or do something on time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a cutscene, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very interactive, too. It was very interactive.
I loved it. The guns you could get, the little things you could do.
The story was great, too.
Trying to fit everything in that box. I hated it, but I loved it at the same time.
Great game. All right.
Resident Evil 4. All right. Your number 2?
My number 2 is the Sly Cooper franchise. I love the Sly Cooper franchise, even though it's
kind of funny because our number 2s are all PlayStation legends. They're all PlayStation legends. They're PlayStation 2, PlayStation.
And here's the thing about Sly Cooper. I know it looks like a kid's game, and it really does.
Sly Cooper was cool.
But it was charming. It was a
charming.
Did
they make a new one?
I don't know if they're making a new one. I didn't hear.
I remember I lied to you for years.
Oh yeah. They're making a 4th one.
They did make a 4th one though. That's the funny thing. Later they made a 4th one.
This guy. Anyway, the Sly Cooper franchises for most people now, because I'm a grown man, and nowadays I'd still play them. Yeah. I have them on my PlayStation library. I will play all 4 games again, over and over, because they never got stale. Each game
definitely enjoyed
the stories were kind of goofy and stuff. Yeah. They were goofy, but that's. Did you
ever get with the Fox lady?
No. Well, yes, and then they break up in the 4th game, and then they get back together, sort of. It was really weird. But anyway, each of the stories, like the story of the first game, the very first game, the Thievius Raccoonus was taking your family's legacy, the book, the Thievius Raccoonus, and putting it back together. And then that's the first game.
Sly Cooper was
Which kind of sounds bland, but it really wasn't. The boss battles in the very first game were different. Every single one of them were different. They never felt the same.
Yeah.
The second game, that was the only thing about the second game I did not like. The boss battles were repetitive, except for the last boss, which was the revived Clockwork. That was the only one.
I've only ever played the first two. I didn't play the third one.
The third one was unique in a sense to where each boss battle wasn't bland, but they were a little bit bland. The third one's story was the cool thing because the Cooper Vault.
Yeah.
The vault where your family was stored their wealth. That part, I was like, holy shit, Sly is like a go-trillionaire. He must have trillions of dollars worth of gold.
Still stealing shit.
Trillions of dollars worth of artifacts. He could buy a country. He could buy Paris and France.
But he'd rather steal stuff.
He would rather steal stuff, but that's what the one thing that makes him charming. And then the fourth game was that the Thebes Raccoonus was being erased. The words out of the book were being erased. And your job was to go back in time and fix it. And you get to meet a lot of the iconic ancestors that you only heard about. You only heard about these ancestors in the previous games through their deeds.
Yeah.
And through their legend, not physically meeting them, which was really cool. I wish they would have added a lot more heroes. They only did five heroes at the most. And all of them were unique, except for one of them. One of them I did not really care much for. And it was the third world. It was the original Cooper.
Oh, okay.
The cave raccoon. You know what? That was stupid. And but other than that, it never got stale. They were charming, and the comedy was so funny.
Yeah, Sly Cooper was a funny game.
It was funny. I mean, it's not over the top, knee slapping funny. It was just kind of funny.
PlayStation they've done well with comedy in their game.
Yeah, the one scene this is what I'm talking about. And in the second game, in the very first intro, remember that where he breaks in to steal the parts, and then Inspector Fox comes out and he's just like, "I caught you red-handed, and I haven't stolen anything." Yet. I was like, oh. You basically gave yourself away. And that's the one thing. Carmelita is not the villain. She's not a villain, but she acts like a villain, and Sly Cooper loves it. He loves the thrill of running away from the police. He lives for it. He's an adrenaline junkie. Sly Cooper is...
He's just doing it for the adrenaline.
He does it for the adrenaline. He doesn't even steal for the money. He just does it because it's fun. And that's another thing about him. He just does it because he's fun. Anyway, I rambled on about Sly Cooper. So what's your number 2 pick?
My number 2 is the Jak and Daxter trilogy.
I like the Jak and Daxter.
I love the Jak and Daxter trilogy because it does one thing.
I didn't like the fifth game. Wait, the fourth game they met?
Well, I don't even count those other games.
The Lost Frontier.
I don't even count those other games. I didn't even play them.
The first three.
The first three. You know what I like about the Jak and Daxter trilogy? Because it does what so many trilogies sometimes don't do. It amps it up each time. You go from kind of just punching and kicking and riding and
no powers, no eco powers.
So they ramped it up. Like that game, you have powers. You can get in a vehicles. You have guns. I mean, Jack's attitude's different. Jack's attitude's different.
His attitude's
he talks. Daxter's hilarious, like always.
He's
He's
annoying, but he is funny.
He's annoying and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
He's that annoying friend that he might be annoying, but he's out looking out for you.
Daxter's the one friend that everybody has.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this.
He's annoying, but you love him anyways. He loves you. You guys have this great bond. And the third one was amped it up even higher. You can get those road vehicles and go out in the sand and see these big ass
and then now you get light eco power.
Yeah, light eco power,
which was basically a healing thing.
Guns, there was new mods on the guns. There was new things you could do with the guns.
And the story was also unique too.
The story was
unique. The one thing I liked about Jak 3 was the driving. The driving out in the open desert was the one thing I loved about it.
The hoverboard, the girls he talked to, the story. Jak, it was so memorable. I remember that game.
It kept going each one, but then after 3, I don't know what happened. It was
after 3. I mean, I don't think they should even made it after 3. After 3, it was just like whatever, because that whole game.
Yeah, Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier was basically like a nostalgia trip through all the Jak and Daxter trilogy.
Pretty much.
And you lost your eco powers. You couldn't use your eco powers, but yet Daxter.
But yeah.
Daxter got eco powers, but only if he was exposed to dark eco. He couldn't transform at will. He only in certain sections.
Man, even that upgrade. Remember the eco powers? You could do different things with the eco powers.
Yeah.
Like that upgraded. Like the whole Jak and Daxter.
I remember the double
trilogy.
jump. I remember the double jump, and then when you slam on the ground, it releases like a tsunami of dark eco electricity and kills everything in front of you.
So Jak and Daxter.
The powers in the second game. The only thing about the second game,
like that one gun that you could charge and shoot and it just and hit everybody else.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Dark Eco powers. They made you feel like a badass because as soon as you just summoned your power, you just went crazy.
And you can fly. And the Light Eco powers, you can stop time. You can fly through the air.
You fly through the air. You heal yourself, and then and the one thing I like about 3 is that you can go in and out of the like in and out of the form at will. You can just go.
I love those. The fact that you could go get the vehicles, in the town and stuff. And 2 affect and like each game makes sense to how it affected the other game. Some of these trilogies, they kind of just pretend like the other stuff didn't happen in the other one. Like they're just like whatever, it happened, but whatever. This is reliant upon that on the other games because he went in the past on Jak 2. I didn't realize he went in the past because you see all this technology and stuff because you're like, well, how's this the past? Because he's in another country apparently in the original Jak.
Yeah, Jak and Daxter world is very, very diverse. Like you have the desert place, and then you have the city inside, and then you have the Lost Frontier, which is the edge of the world.
And it's kind of unique
because like out of the edge of this world, it's basically all nothingness but sky and ocean. It's basically all it is.
It's kind of unique how the orbs. You got
the precursor orbs.
You got those like crazy on the first one. Those were the things you got to get things, but on the second one and third one, they were rare to find, and you didn't see them very often.
Yeah,
I like how they did that.
You collected all of them. You got a lot of cool stuff.
It's kind of cool how you went back in the past and now find them. They were really hard to find.
It was rewarding to get those in the second and third game. It was very rewarding. And the one thing that I liked about this, like the third game the most, was the cars, obviously, but the Light Eco powers, even though they were kind of strange at first.
I love that hoverboard.
The hoverboard.
He's kind of cool, just doing all these things and doing all these flips and kicks and oh man, it had so much in that game. And the guns, the hoverboard, the powers, the characters.
But here's the one thing about Jak and Daxter that we like about it, but some people don't like about it. It's another acquired taste game. You have to have an acquired taste for the Jak and Daxter.
It's very cartoony too.
But it's very cartoony, but it's also funny too.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Daxter can be funny at times. He can be also annoying at times, and then Jak can be funny at times. Just be like, what are you doing, man? It's like he can really be funny at times. So anyway, guys, let's go with my number 3 pick, which was Spore. Spore to me was sort of like my wet dream of an alien.
Well, you have wet dreams about aliens though?
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, no. Spore was basically like my wanting for a Galaxy Alien Empire game. Even though there was a lot of components missing from it that I would have liked to have seen, but it was so cool. You get to make your own species. You get to evolve from a cell to
that sounds complicated.
Well, to a galactic empire, and then once you get to that state where you leave your home planet, that's where the game, I feel, truly begins. Because you go from a cell, then you go from an animal who lives in nests and lives in a pack to a tribe that lives in a village to a city and a civilization, like to a space galactic empire. And so anyway, basically the game starts as like your creature, your race is like cryogenically in a comet that crashes into your home planet. The comet changes your home planet to where it's livable, and then you and your mission is to reach the top of the food chain and conquer your planet and then ascend to the stars. That's your goal. And you start each one, and there's 3 different options you get to pick. You get to pick the predatory, the neutral in between, or you get to pick the completely friendly.
That sounds like Civilization.
It does kind of sound like Civilization, but it's its own little twist on it. It's like when you reach the animal stage, you have a predator, which is like the completely evil one where you kill every other species besides yours.
Wow.
You get the neutral, which is like you kill some species, but you ally with others. Then and then there's the very friendly one where you don't kill any of them. And in the tribal stage, it's the same way. You get to make peace with all the tribes who live with you, or you get to destroy them all, or destroy some and then allow others to survive. And the civilization, you get 3 different types of government. You get a military government, you get a economic government, or you get a religious government. And you don't get that much control of like family trees and kings and queens and all that stuff. That's the one thing I would have liked to see, is like you have like your own little family line of like your royal family that rules your race was like the descendant of that first cell. That would have been cool. But
that would have been cool.
I mean, I wish someone at least made a mod for it, but they don't. Anyway, and then once you reach that height, once you reach the galaxy, it's like you get to colonize other planets, terraform other planets, and like they give you these gadgets you get to like on your ship. You get to build your own ship, and then you have these gadgets where you get to design planets. You get to like add not chocolate, freaking like gear mountains. Like you get to freaking sculpt a planet. You get to sculpt it the way you want it. You get to put like crystal rivers and crystal mountains and all this other cool stuff.
That sounds pretty cool.
And the one thing, once you reach the galactic stage, your only villain is the Groks. The Groks are an android race of semi-organic beings that they occupy the center of the galaxy.
Going into spoiler territory here.
I'm not spoiling it. I'm only spoiling. It's not really a spoiler because there's no story to it. There's really no story to it.
I guess
there's no story to it. And so anyway, that's my third pick was Spore. What was your third pick?
My third pick is the Mass Effect trilogy. I mean, now it may have ended.
I want to do Mass Effect, but I gave it to him because I picked another game.
It might have ended on a little sour note, but the whole game itself was fantastic.
Oh, gosh.
The different things you could do, the modifications, the characters in this game. His favorite character was Rex.
I'm so sorry, fans. Someone was calling me. My phone was vibrating. My fault. Anyway, yeah, Rex.
His favorite my favorite character was Garrus. I love Garrus.
I love Garrus.
Garrus was so funny and just so witty and just
he was such a smart ass.
He's such a smart ass. That's why I loved him so much. Like he just like.
Well, so was Rex.
He just sit, like he'd be like, oh, well, we're about to go into battle. Well, let's
why can't we go somewhere nice?
Well, let's just hope you don't get shot. What the fuck, guys? He didn't have to say that.
I remember Mass Effect 2. Well, I remember Mass Effect 2 where you're going into the plague zone of Omega, and Garrus goes, why can't we go somewhere nice? It's like, shut up.
Like, Garrus is just, he's
witty. He's so funny. And the one thing I like about Urdnot Rex in the third game, I remember when you're on the Solarian homeworld, and like, depending on who you're with, it's just like, I mean, like, if you're with Garrus and Liara, like the original team of Mass Effect 1, Liara, like Liara will say to Rex, he'll say, you know what, that's one thing I always loved about you, Rex, your constant attitude and character. And he was like, and then Rex goes, my charming good looks. I'm like, Rex, you're ugly as shit.
No, you know nothing like that's. I know we're just talking about these two characters. There's a bunch of other great characters in this game. So the beautiful women in this game too that you have relationships with.
Miranda.
But Garrus, he always had me laughing because anytime you got in an elevator with him, he'd just be because in the first game, anytime you got in an elevator, they'd be talking and having conversations, and he always goes, anybody miss those conversations we was having?
Yeah.
Nope.
I remember that. That was funny. Garrus was funny. So was Rex. Rex was funny too.
But the game was awesome. The story was very cool.
The
character you got to build. The fact that your decisions could actually affect the whole story itself. The fact where it's going.
And it all comes together in the end, except for the final battle. That's the only part where it didn't come all together.
Other than that, even that third game was emotional. I felt emotion in that.
I love the third game.
I felt emotional until the end.
The end was just like.
And there's a DLC you can get where you get a vacation where you and that if anybody played it, I can't remember the name of the DLC, but it's freaking cool. It's an emotional DLC.
Extended cut or something like that. No, it showed you what. Oh no, it wasn't.
No, it's this thing. It's this DLC you get, and like they give you they give you time off, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's an add-on you can get to it. It's not really an add-on. It's like they give you vacation time for you and your crew, and you guys are having vacation before you go in the final battle.
That's weird.
But shit hits the fan, and it's not a vacation for long. But long story short, you do. But it's very cool. Yeah, it is cool. It was cool and unique. Mass Effect was a great, unique thing. It reminded me of Star Wars meets
Star Wars, Star Trek, Starship Troopers.
Yeah, it was just awesome.
And it was a mix of all the great space.
And I like the fact you can actually get in romantic relationships and those actually affect. They will remind you. They remember what happened on the other games. You can import it on to the. I've never seen that before in another game. We can import information.
Yeah. So anyway, the relationship system was kind of strange. You had let's see, Tali, Miranda, Liara, and
and then
Mass Effect 2
if you
added other
technical,
women.
you can do anything. You can be gay.
Yeah, that's so you can be gay too.
You can
I don't care
if you wanted to.
I was never gay.
You can talk to anybody. You can talk to Rex if you wanted to. If you had a chick, you could talk to Rex.
Basically that's it. But it's just like the hottest woman in the whole group. I think was Miranda.
Miranda was like
just because of that suit she wore.
It's like I felt more for Tali. I actually felt more for Tali. I was like, oh, Tali. I liked her a lot more.
I felt more for Tali too because she was like she didn't understand humans that well. She only knows the ship fleet she grew up on, and so she's really resentful towards the Geth because of what the Geth did to her people. But at the same time, she's hypocritical because the Quarians did it to the Geth first.
That's why.
That's one thing. That's the only thing I don't like about the Quarians. They're very hypocritical about that. I mean, it's like you did that to the Geth. You were trying to shut down the Geth when all they wanted was to serve you. That was it. The Geth wanted to serve you, and yet you killed them. So obviously they were going to retaliate. Any other race would have done that. What other unique race? The Turians weren't that unique of a race. I mean, they were unique, but they were like the militaristic race.
Yeah, they were militaristic.
The one thing about them that was unique was their government, the hierarchy.
Yeah.
It was like there was a hierarchy, and the highest rank you can achieve in the hierarchy, which was pretty easy to do, which was a Primarch, which was the Primarch was the seat of power where you represent your race as a whole. That's the highest point you can get, and that's really where the Turian hierarchy was. Where the Asari republics were, obviously the kind of like sort of like the United States and sort of that kind of way. But the Solarian Union was actually the most unique because it was a collection of union families under one government. There were a whole bunch of families under the control of Adalatrus, which was a female Solarian who runs this entire family, and then all these Dalatrases make up the whole Solarian Union. It was kind of really weird that way. And then the human race is obviously the same way. They're a democracy and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Effect is definitely one of the best trilogies. I mean, I've said on one video we did that I didn't really see the big whoop for Mass Effect in the beginning, but now I see it. Now I see why. Now I was like, wait, this is a pretty great adventure, and it's just a ride.
It's a wild ride.
Anyways, what is your fourth?
My fourth game I picked. Damn, I forgot.
You forgot your fourth? Want me to do mine?
Do yours. I have to think. What was it?
Well, mine's is pretty simple. Mine's is Fallout 3. Mine's isn't a whole Fallout trilogy because I haven't played all the Fallout. I've only played New Vegas and 3. But 3, I picked 3 between the two because I thought 3 was. I feel like New Vegas is nothing more than an upgrade, a tiny little upgraded version of 3. I mean, the differences are so similar that I might as well go with 3. 3 was cool because it was the first time I went next level. It was the graphics, the open world, the people you met, the story, you're looking for your father. The whole thing was awesome. I didn't really know what Fallout was going to be like. I mean, because I've seen it and I kept hearing about it and I saw the other games. Like when I looked up Fallout, I saw those other games. I was like, oh man, it's going to suck. And I played Fallout 3 and it was very unique. It's very... I mean, you pretty much said everything you could about it earlier. You pretty much said everything I thought about it.
Yeah, the only difference is he didn't play the first two. I did.
Yeah, Fallout 3 was awesome.
So anyway, my fourth game, I still can't remember what my fourth game was.
You sure you can't remember?
I can't remember. What was it? Shit.
I thought you went old school.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going old school. Thank you so much. Like, we would have cut the video right here just for me to think of it. My fourth game... Super Mario All-Stars, the one on the Super Nintendo. That was my ultimate game. Well, not one of my favorite games of all time because it had the original Mario Brothers, had Mario 2, and it had Mario 3, and plus the other Lost stuff and all that stuff. Plus Super Mario World was included in that. The one thing I liked about it was that even though they weren't the same, each one got different, and they got also a graphical update. The All-Stars version of those games were graphically more impressive than the original game itself. The original game looked kind of stale. And, the All-Stars version made it really look nice. And the one thing that I love about the original Marios was just how rewarding it was for the secrets you found. Like, in Super Mario World, levels of secrets were represented by a red flashing dot. That was like there was a secret there. And it was usually a key and a lock in the middle of the sky or something. It was really weird looking. And then like you get the key, you go to, and then the secret, it dives off the main map diver. It was really rewarding. You get a secret. And like in the original Mario Brothers, and in the second level where you go across the whole top and you get to the warp pipes and you get to skip 6 worlds all the way to it was awesome.
Yeah, Super Mario All-Stars was definitely a cool game.
Yeah, it was.
At the time, I remember playing that. It was definitely unique.
Yeah, and my fifth and final game.
I haven't given my fifth.
Oh, you haven't gotten your fifth?
I gave my fourth.
Oh, that's right. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My fifth game is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I thought that was the greatest Metal Gear Solid game. It's been the best one so far. You got to play as Snake, and you got to see what happened and what helped him become the big boss. He had to go kill his own mentor. And it was kind of crazy circumstances. When you play the game, you figure that out, that this is crazy circumstances. She is basically sacrificing herself for her country. She is going to be known as a traitor and all these different things just so America can look clean. And that's a pretty ballsy thing. She says it, that you do what you have to do. You're a soldier.
She pulled an Itachi.
You're a soldier. You have to do what you have to do.
She pulled an Itachi Uchiha. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Naruto.
You're a soldier. You do what's told. You do what's told by you, and you don't question it, even if it's gonna make you look bad. Even
though she's gonna be counted as a terrorist or something. It was
she did what she did. The mechanics were cool. The fact that you get hurt and get poisoned and had to heal yourself, and you could eat the snakes. The boss battles were cool.
Yeah, it was a great game.
You know, these crazy. Each boss battle was unique and different, and that was pretty cool. Also, I mean, even you get to meet Revolver Ocelot when he was young, before he became the old Revolver Ocelot. He was just Ocelot Revolver. You actually meet him before he even uses revolvers. It turns out you're the one who talked him into using revolvers in the first place.
It was a great game.
That game was pretty cool.
But I do remember my fifth final game now that you said retro. My fifth and final game, Metroid Prime for the GameCube. Metroid Prime broke the mold of the Metroid games because it was fun, the story was great, and the graphics for the GameCube at that time, unbelievable graphics for the GameCube, because the GameCube's graphics weren't that great, especially counting the Kingdom Hearts series.
I think people were still mind blown that the chick behind Samus was a chick.
It was a chick.
Like a lot of people still
Samus was a chick.
Shell shocked.
She's a gorgeous chick.
Yes,
it's really funny.
Man.
Yeah, Metroid Prime is like anyway, your whole mission is to like investigate a planet or research facility of some type, and then you meet the Metroid species itself, and you see all this other cool stuff. But it was a third-person game. It was third-person. It was action-packed oriented. There were puzzles in it. It was basically like God of War, but Metroid. And it was awesome. It was such a great addition to the Metroid franchise. It really made the Metroid games. And I really wish that Nintendo would come out with a good one. Not a shit one like they made recently. A really good one. Yeah, but there's really much more to say about it without spoiling it, because everything about Metroid, everything about it tied into the main story and who Samus was. So I can't really say any more without spoiling anything about it, because as soon as you look it up, you're like, oh shit, now I can't play it.
Well, that is our top five video games.
We'll do another top 5 of our other favorite video games, because we have a lot more than that.
There's a lot of video games, but that'll be our top 5. Well, maybe we'll
do another top.
Those are our top 5.
Those are our top 5. We'll do like our secondary top 5.
Yeah, we might do like a secondary top 5. We might come back with our top 5 movies.
But we already did that. Oh, no, that was top 5 movie trailers. We'll come back, like the next video we do. We have plenty of time to kill. So the last video I guess we'll do today, or maybe we'll do more, we'll do top 5 movies of all time, and movie trilogies and franchises of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So first what we need to do is we need to write them down, because I forgot.
He forgot. I'm good.
I need to write them. I need to write them down.
I am okay. I know I had my games in a row. But anyways, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Comic Gamer Movie Show.
And we will see you all